To be honest, I don't really have that one role model in life. I look up to many different people from my life that I admire. And one of my role models in life is no one other than Bruce Lee.
Whips his tail.
For those of you who don't know who Bruce Lee is an Asian American martial artist, actor, director, and philosopher. Bruce Lee was born on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco. One of his famous achievements are creating a mixed martial arts called Jeet Kune Do, which can be seen as a paving for future MMA organizations like the UFC. Bruce Lee also became a well-known pop culture icon, and this achievement was one of the reasons why he became one of my role models. Funnily enough, the day Bruce Lee became a role model in my life was when I figured out that we shared a birthday. I didn't even know this until my cousin pointed it out, but after that day, I started to YouTube Bruce Lee's training and watch Bruce Lee's films, from Enter the Dragon to The Way of the Dragon. I started to realize that this guy was more than amazing, and much more than an actor and fighter. In my opinion, Bruce Lee elevated the way Asian Americans, and more specifically, Asian American males were depicted in media. I don't think there was any other Asian American figures during his time as famous as Bruce Lee. It's crazy to think that the closest quote-unquote Asian character I can recall in old 60s to 70s films was in Breakfast at Tiffany's, where the character of Mr. Yunioshi was, well, depicted by a white man dressed as a stereotypical Japanese caricature. It's safe to say Asian Americans were not depicted accurately in film, and it wasn't until Bruce Lee and the Kung Fu craze of the 70s where the Hollywood industry had an interest in Asian Americans in film. Before Bruce Lee, Asian males were stereotyped as tame and submissive. Asian males were not romanticized as attractive people compared to the white protagonists of films. Bruce Lee also went against the typical depictions of Asian martial artists who were typically shown as quiet, meditative, and restrained. It's not to say that Bruce Lee couldn't do any of those, but it's a fact that when he could be loud and he could be obnoxious, well. Apart from his sheer coolness and style, what resonated with me about Bruce Lee was his mindset and philosophical ideas. On a more personal level, Bruce Lee's words and motivations have helped me improve my self-confidence and drive to always strive to do better, to self-improve. I love Bruce Lee's advocacy for self-improvement. The quote that will forever stay with me is the quote mentioning, "Defeat is a state of mind. No one is ever defeated until defeat has been accepted." For me, this quote summarizes the importance of self-motivation and determination of one's character. This quote resonated with me and is ingrained with my motivation and determination, especially with dealing with challenging obstacles, whether it be a grueling workout, overbearing workload of school and life, or even in relationships. What makes Bruce Lee stand out to be my Asian American role model is actually more greater than anyone can imagine. It's not actually his physique. He isn't even the most muscular Asian guy there is to look up to. We have Yoshi Sudarso for that. It's not even his acting skills. We have John Cho for that. And surprisingly, it's not his martial arts capabilities. Yeah, he is probably one of, if not the most iconic Asian American mixed martial artist. But I think what makes Bruce Lee stand out as a pinnacle Asian man is, well, his magnificent ability to grow a beard and actually look good with it. Thank you for watching.